Hey y'all, it's West Virginia History with Mrs. B, and I'm coming to you from West Virginia Wesleyan College in Buchanan, West Virginia, which is in Upshur County. And this is our third West Virginia Wesleyan video, and we are talking about the newer part of campus today. Please join us for the other videos as well. We have a video about the earlier parts of campus, we have a video about the library, and we also have a special video about Wesley Chapel. I hope you enjoy learning more about the history of West Virginia Wesleyan College. Hey y'all, it's West Virginia History with Mrs. B coming to you from Buchanan, West Virginia, the home of West Virginia Wesleyan College. We've had a lot of requests to do a college history tour, and I thought I need to start with my alma mater, of the mountains, West Virginia Wesleyan. And so thankfully, I know a lot of people here, including this wonderful woman who is joining us, who I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Paula McGrew. I'm a retired professor from West Virginia Wesleyan. I was the library director for 10 years, and then now I'm the college historian. So this is kind of what Adina has had in mind. Yeah. And I'm also an alum, as my mother, my dad, my grandfather, my 2 children, and 1 niece. So I'm not, too connected.
Oh no, not at all. And she teaches a West Virginia Wesleyan history class here on campus. And side note, I've known Paula for over 20 years because her son, Steve, was one of my friends in college. So she is a wonderful resource, and she's going to teach us all about West Virginia and Wesleyan's history as we go around campus today. So we are standing with a plaque for a building that's no longer here. It's what was called the old Wesleyan Gym, and it was right here where we are now. And you can see it was built in 1912, 1913, enlarged in 1920-21, and tore down in 1974 when they built Rockefeller Center, which we'll show you later. But cool history. This is going to be the site of the first high school basketball tournament ever from 1914 to 1938. You can also see it was home of the WV basketball tournament from 1940 to 1960. And they're going to use it both in World War I and World War II. So this building had a lot of history happening in it, but it was torn down, of course, to build other things. And while we're here, let's talk about the rock. You can't talk about West Virginia Wesleyan without talking about the rock.
I've really been trying to get people to put on Facebook things that they've painted on there over the years and kind of like make a timeline, but I can't get anybody to do it.
I swear to you, this rock is probably about this big.
I think it is.
And it's got about 2 million layers of spray paint on it. And people get very competitive when it comes to the rock. You have your organization will paint it, especially fraternities and sororities, and when it gets real competitive, people camp out around the rock to make sure the rock stays
I've been told
painted.
that they had to stay there with their hand on it until 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Is what they had to do. I've never done it myself. I don't know how I've missed it, but I never have painted it.
I've painted it. I remember one time, this stupid thing, we got this spray paint, we thought it was going to look great, but it ended up looking like a giant corn kernel, and so I was glad it got painted over because it didn't look so good. But this is a big Wesleyan tradition, is painting the rock and making sure the rock has your organization, especially your fraternity or sorority's name on it.
Okay, a few years ago I was walking with the class from 1969, 69. They had not been back, some of them had not been back, and this was their 50th anniversary.
Okay.
And so when we came to this spot right here, they all went, whoa, because everything from here down was built after they graduated.
Right.
So this is all was new to them.
Okay.
So what we've seen so far, they hadn't seen, but up until now. And so I asked them, what were your memories with all of that exciting time? And the one man said it probably best, mud. He said it was muddy construction for years.
Right.
They thought there was just mud down here. But as you walk down here, we'll kind of see, this is the vision of Stanley Martin, who was one of he's our longest serving president. So he was having that vision of the red brick and how it could all flow together. And we are thankful for him. So.
Oh, absolutely. He definitely enlarged the size of this college.
Oh my.
Absolutely. So let's go check it out.
Let's check it out.
we are now in the newer part of campus, and so Paula's going to tell us about all of these buildings that were built through the vision, really, of Stanley Martin.
Yes. The first one up, I'll just take a little sweep around. The first one up there is the Ream Snyder Research Center, and it's named after David Ream Snyder, who was a faculty member, a football star, an alum, athletic director. He was many things, and he taught for many, many years.
Yes.
The neat thing is the old gym is where he spent a lot of his time, and where his office was in that old gym is kind of now a part of the Ream Snyder Research Building. I like that. That's kind of
I love that. Tie it all together. It's so perfect.
This is the Christopher Hall of Science. This is the building that was built after the Heyman Hall of Science started to be outdated.
Right.
And the labs were not sufficient, so they built this in 1969. At the dedication for this building, Arthur C. Clarke spoke. It's kind of cool. Yeah, so this is kind of where all the sciencey people hang out.
Yes.
Right here.
And I had only the required classes for my liberal arts major in here.
Me too.
So, you know, as
too.
the social scientist, I did not
But if
spend
they
a
were
lot
as
of time.
fancy as this, I might have spent more time there.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Nah. We're gonna keep turning around and show you some more
You
things.
want to go to this corner here?
Yeah. All right. So we'll talk a little bit about Rockefeller Center.
Okay.
All right. So if you want to get started.
Okay, when the old gym has gotten so old that they had to tear it down, this is the new gym. My people, when I was here in the 70s, we still call it the new gym. They just call it the Rock.
Yes.
Now, so
Yes.
it's just the Rock. But that's where all of the athletic things, the athletic training, and all of those things.
Yes.
On the one end of that is the Barnhart Memorial Health Center,
Right.
which was also built about the same time.
Where students can go if they get sick, so which is important.
Yes.
And there's an auxiliary gym as well in here, and all kinds of health facilities. The students have like a full gym where they can work out in here.
It's not in there.
It's not in there. It
It's
moved.
over in Jenkins
Oh,
now.
it moved. Okay, so it's over here now.
It's there,
Sorry.
yeah. But yeah, they do have it. It's all really big
Yeah,
stuff.
it's a really nice facility, and of course it's named for Wesleyan president and then future governor and U.S. Senator of the state of West Virginia, John D. Rockefeller IV. So he was here not very long.
Not very long, just a few years, but while he was here, he did a lot of good things. And I think one of the other things he did really well was he had great staff around him,
Right.
as he continued to do throughout all that other
Absolutely.
thing. But you know, they did a good job keeping things moving
Absolutely.
forward. And then here's the Benedict Campus Center,
Yes.
and that was built. It's a great place. Right now they have some offices, the bookstore is in there. But also there's a swimming pool in there where the swim team does their magic. Yep.
And Dave would like this, the campus radio stations
Campus
in there.
radio stations in
Yep.
there.
Yep.
And TV station too now. They have, I don't know that they are too far out on the air, but they have all kinds of facilities for editing and doing filming.
How fun is
So
that?
they have that, can't really see from here, the French Sea Dining Center, but
Yes.
it's connected. We could do that later, or you want to?
You want to just, we'll loop and go back if you want.
I do have one point I want to ask Paula. Correct me if I'm wrong, but behind the Rockefeller Center on the other side of the building, C.B. Ross Field, the football field there for Wesleyan, right?
Yes, that's exactly.
The only reason I remember that is because when I was a young lad back at West Virginia State,
A young lad.
17 years ago, I came up here to broadcast the West Virginia State West Virginia Wesleyan football game, and they had us on this metal platform between the bleachers
And the wall.
and the wall of the Rockefeller Center. I didn't feel really safe that
That's-
October
that's-
day.
I don't like
Yeah.
lights myself.
They put a lot of money into the athletic facilities since then, and they've
Yes.
turfed the field, so it's very nice back there now.
And we have our very first woman athletic director,
Yes,
Ray Emmerich. She's doing a great job.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. All right, well then we're gonna head that way.
But he needs to turn around and get that shot before the light
Oh,
goes away.
I agreed. That is magic. That is
What are we
magic.
looking at here, Paula?
We're looking at the Wesley Chapel, but also the leaves in the tree in front of it. That's Wesley Chapel, which was it's the largest worship area I think in West Virginia at
Yes.
one point. I'm not sure.
I think
if
it
that's
still
true.
is. I think it still is true.
think it's-
And it has the largest organ in the state of West Virginia.
Yep.
What is it? 4,000
Oh, I can't tell you the number right off the head.
4,000 is a lot of pipes. I had to learn because I used to do tours for prospective students. But yeah, largest worship space in the
I wrote
entire
a blog
state.
about it. If you want to look at that, you can read it, and then you'll know the
You'll
number.
know all of
I
it.
would have known the number, but I'm
Yeah,
not gonna look at it.
yeah. So it's a magnificent space. I spent a lot of time in there in college because we had choir practice there every day. So
It's a beautiful space, and it's just very. As I was growing up as a Methodist minister's daughter, I came here every year in June for conference,
right.
and I came for youth conferences. And so when it came time to apply for school, I didn't even apply anywhere else because this was home. This is where I was coming.
Yeah, you just
This
knew.
is my place.
I remember the first time I ever came here was for Strawberry Festival, and I remember walking across campus as a freshman, and I said, this place feels like home. I said, this is where I'm going to go to college. And someone said to me, oh, it's too expensive. You'll never be able to go to school here. And I did it.
There are a lot of scholarship opportunities.
Yeah.
Because those same alums and people who are giving all this money for buildings are also building students.
Oh, I agreed. 100%.
They definitely are giving a lot of money for that.
100%. And I am the beneficiary of that. And my students are the beneficiary of that. Absolutely.
What's important because, we build each other.
Yes. Yes.
There's one of the quotes that I like is first we build the buildings and then they build us.
Right.
And then we build each other, and then we build more buildings, and then they build us.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it's.
I couldn't
kind of
agree
gone.
more. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So where would you like to go next?
So the dining hall. Let's go check out the dining hall. Hey y'all, we are now standing in front of the Benedum Campus Center and the French AC dining hall. So we're going to give you a little bit more information about these buildings that I knew from my days at Wesleyan, but are newer additions, of course, to campus.
Yes. In the Student Center, I forgot to mention a while ago, there was also, back in the 70s, a bowling alley.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to bring that back. I would support that.
I would
Pretty cool.
totally support that too. That sounds
It
fun.
was a very small bowling alley, but it
Yeah.
would work.
Yeah.
There used to be cafeterias in McCuskey Hall and Jenkins Hall.
Right.
Back in earlier days, as you mentioned earlier, in the basement of Agnes Howard, and also in the basement of the old gym was where the men ate.
Really?
Yes, the women ate at Agnes Howard, and the men ate there.
Okay.
And there was no getting together over the table, which,
Right.
had that happened, I would not have met my husband in McCuskey, so I'm glad that changed. But now, the dining center is here, and it is absolutely wonderful. I mean, when you think back at some of those other things,
Right.
The food is, I think it's great.
Yeah.
Students will tell you that they get tired of the same old, but they have like a little
It's
station
true.
where they'll make all kinds of, omelets and things certain days. I mean, it's just a really nice
And there's
place.
special dinner.
Special
Special
dinners.
dinner to look forward to.
So many people in town actually come here to eat.
Yeah.
Especially on a day that there's a basketball game. People come in, buy dinner, and they go to the game.
Well, and the thing about Wesleyan is almost everybody lives on campus, so almost everybody dines in the dining hall. And so if you want to see everybody on campus, this is where you go at mealtime.
That's
because
right.
everybody's here, including the faculty. A lot of
A lot of faculty
here.
will come by and eat.
Yeah, so it is a huge space. It can seat the entire student body pretty much.
I really think it would be pretty nice if we could go in there and see it, but but it is very nice, and there's a skylight there at the top. It's very pleasant.
Yes,
place to be.
yes. And I always sat in the table right here back towards back. So, we're talking about being creatures of habit. That's where I like to.
That was your spot?
That was my spot.
All right.
So,
So that is also the gazebo was given by one of the classes as a senior gift, and people will sit out there and read and just hang out with their friends
Yeah.
and wait for somebody for dinner.
people are very serious about their senior gifts. You take it very serious because it's your first statement as an alumnus
Right.
to the college.
Right. The fire pit was one. I mean, there are all kinds of those.
That is so great. That is so cool.
Yeah, we love our alums, and the alums love us, so
Yes.
it's kind of nice.
It is a good thing.
So we can go down this way and see where the fountain. That you got the beautiful leaves, but the fountain is not on today.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah.
I can show you where the hole is.
Oh yes, let's go do that.
Okay.
All right, so we are in a new place for people in my generation. This used to be the oval where everybody parked, but they have put it back to more what Stanley Martin's original vision was. And so one of the things that they've done is installed a fountain, which is not
It's not on
on today. But our alma mater has a line about at thy magic mystic fountains, and we didn't
dreams of life began.
exactly, and we didn't have a fountain on campus, so now we have this fountain that will be on throughout the year, and the kids do funny things like put bubbles and stuff in it.
It also sometimes is pink, like for breast cancer
Yeah.
awareness, and blue for the Buchanan Upshur, or
Yeah,
for their homecoming and that
it's great. So we didn't get to see it, but we got to enjoy the leaves.
Yes, you did.
So
It's a good trade-off.
one thing you'll notice for folks that haven't been to Wesleyan in a while is Camden apartments are gone. There were these apartments that stood here right on Camden Avenue, and lots of upperclassmen lived in them in my era, but they've been torn down. They were only supposed to be temporary.
They were only supposed to be temporary, and that's what happened. So
and they stayed for a really long
a
time.
lot longer than people thought.
Yeah,
30 some years or so.
Yeah, so then they eventually tore them down and extended the parking. So that building is Middleton Hall.
Middleton Hall is the nursing building for our fantastic nursing program. We
Oh,
have
yeah.
state-of-the-art stuff in there going on, and it's a really beautiful place.
Yeah, and if you look really, really hard, you'll be able to see like around, and that way is the solar farm. So Wesleyan is partially powered by solar power.
Yeah.
So, which is very cool.
And we have had solar panels on the top of the library for over 10 years now.
That's so cool.
So we have that, and then here's one of our newest dorm, which is named Dunn Hall for another one of our trustees. And it was built with the idea of not replicating but honoring Agnes Howard.
Absolutely. Well, it's obvious in the architecture that it is definitely harkening back to Aggie, because they're like the anchors on this side of the campus. So, and this is upperclassmen.
Mostly, it keeps changing from year to year depending on the makeup of the student body. So I'm never quite sure how that's working at any given time right now. But so this is Holloway Hall. They do have the suites for the sororities are in there.
Yes.
And
So
then,
the sororities don't have sorority houses; they have suites, and so they're on this side, on the left-hand side, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
and then the next one up is Benedum Hall. So we're walking right into the sun now.
Yeah, yeah, and so Benedum's, these are all part of that Stanley Martin plan.
Yes, and they were all built mostly in the 60s. So
Yes.
it just about everything that you're seeing right now was built in the 60s.
So,
During that time. So he was just amazing, considering the fact that it was the 60s and the world was on fire, much like today. I mean,
Yeah.
everything in the country was going crazy, and it was wild, but he was still here making buildings happen. I think that's impressive.
absolutely. Well, and just like such an anchor for this community, where the whole world's changing, but there's this continuity at the college.
And the fact that they thought that out ahead, and they didn't just say, "Oh, let's throw up a building here, and a building there, and a building here." They thought it out
Absolutely.
purposefully. The
Absolutely.
Benedum buildings are actually named, pretty much in the oil and gas business in West Virginia. We have Michael Benedum,
Right.
and his nephew. I think this dorm is named for his nephew. So that family has been very supportive of
Right.
the whole state,
Oh, absolutely.
and so we are happy to have shared in that. Michael Benedum was actually from Bridgeport, which is just up the road, not too far.
Yes. And the Benedict Civic Center in Bridgeport's named for him as well, right?
Yes. So, and a lot of things in Pittsburgh also.
Yes.
We're looking at the back of these buildings, but the next one up here is Lohr Memorial Hall.
Yes.
That actually was also a Methodist family who had a daughter who got ill and had to leave school because of her health.
Oh, okay.
So much as Agnes Howard herself. So we had the Lohr family. He was a businessman, and they were just very supportive. And the music now we can call this sometimes the squawk box.
True.
Because if you walk by just any given time, the band will be practicing, or people in the practice rooms will be playing or singing
yes.
or doing all sorts of
Oh,
wonderful
yes.
music.
Well, I've been part of the Squawk Box many
It's
a time.
a wonderful thing. We
It
have
is.
a very strong music background here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And not only is there a concert band, but they're our jazz bands, percussion ensembles. There's even a marching band. So, you know, for a small college, the music's really at the heart of the college.
And has been forever. I had a picture in the new display in Erickson Hall. It was the 1905 Mandolin and Guitar Club. I love that. I want to join it. I don't play either of those things, but I think I just want to be in that.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's been something that's not new here. It's
always
part
been
of who we are.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And we like to sing.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So that brings us to Jenkins Hall. And this back part of Jenkins Hall is where all those exercise things are now.
Oh, okay.
So the dorm is upstairs, and this what used to be the cafeteria in Jenkins is now the exercise place. So where you used to eat your donuts, now you work them off.
Okay. So, what they called the back seat at one time.
Yeah, they had a little back theater back there.
Yep. Fantastic.
So that brings us back. The circle around through here is just kind of the 1960s additions and 70s, some of them, but
which are significant. I mean, you more than doubled the size of campus.
So you can imagine those people who came back for their 50th anniversary and stood at the top of that hill and looked down here and went, "Oh, wow!" Kind of like you did in the library.
Oh yeah.
So things keep moving along and changing and getting more and more
absolutely
fun and exciting, but
absolutely.
But yet that feeling is still here.
Oh, absolutely. Doesn't matter how many buildings you build, they'll still be home.
Yeah.
And will always be home.
Yeah.
Well, I hope y'all have really enjoyed this video and you've learned a little bit about West Virginia Wesleyan. We are so glad that we got to have Paula with us on this journey. Paula,
I enjoyed it very much.
Oh my gosh, I've
asking
enjoyed
me.
it too. I thought I knew a lot of the history, and I for the most part did. But it's so great to hear it from the expert, the woman who teaches West Virginia Wesleyan
history. And also
history.
the fact that when I was a student here, I knew none of this. I knew none of it. And then all of a sudden I started looking around, and then it just kept getting better and better and more exciting. So that's how history is. So.
Well, and like I always tell my students, and I tell anybody to listen, I think the most important history, the history that gets people excited, is their own history. And so you have to know your own history in the context of larger history, really to appreciate where your community, your college, where your state has been, so you know how to move forward. So
you know what the priorities have always been, and then it's exciting to see when they still are.
Exactly. That continuity
gives you an identity of who you are.
Absolutely. And you can feel that you feel that tie to history because you know now you know your own history.
Right.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks.
Thanks, y'all, for tuning in and joining us here at West Virginia Wesleyan College in Buchanan, West Virginia. Please tune in next week to catch another episode of West Virginia History with Mrs. B.